Hello friends, welcome to youtube.com/Dr. Ved channel. In these videos, we are learning veterinary science and animal husbandry lectures. I am Dr. P.R. Patel, Professor and Head. In this presentation, we will study Addison disease, also called as hypoadrenocorticism. In part 1, we will study introduction, etiology, pathogenesis of this important endocrine disease. Friends, we discuss here the introduction on Addison disease. It is also called as hypoadrenocorticism. That means decreased secretion of adrenocorticotropic hormone and thereby decreased secretion of other hormones. Thomas Addison defined a syndrome of long-term adrenal insufficiency, and from his name Addison, the disease is named as Addison disease. Addison disease is also called as hypoadrenocorticism, a deficiency of adrenocortical hormones. Deficiency of adrenocortical hormones, all hormones deficiency. Deficiency of glucocorticoid, deficiency of mineralocorticoid, or deficiency of both. Disease is very common in dogs. It occurs in any breed of the dog, of any sex or at any age. Friends, here I have presented some of the epidemiological features important for a clinician. The disease is mostly observed in female adult dogs and most commonly in young to middle-aged dogs and infrequently or sporadically in horses. Certain breeds of dogs are more susceptible. The susceptible breeds are standard poodles, West Highland White Terriers, Great Danes, bearded collies, and Portuguese water dogs. It occurs in any sex or at any age or in any breed, but some of the clinician has observed this sex, age and breed predisposition. Friends, before understanding the disease, it is better to understand the normal physiology of adrenocortical hormones. Aldosterone and the main hormone is mineralocorticoid hormone of the adrenal cortex. This mineralocorticoid hormone is produced by most outer layer of the adrenal cortex called the zona glomerulosa. Now we see the important functions of the mineralocorticoid. The important function is sodium conservation in the kidney, salivary gland and sweat glands and colon. So this mineralocorticoid hormone conserve or reabsorb the sodium. The major effect is on ion transport. because body has to homeostasis or equilibrium of the ion. The major ions affected are sodium, potassium and chloride, and that occurs by epithelial cells of the sweat glands of the skin and renal tubules. So main function of mineralocorticoid hormone is reabsorption of the sodium from the glomerular filtrate and secretion of potassium into the filtrate. I am speaking again. Main function of the mineralocorticoid hormone is reabsorption of the sodium. So sodium increases in the blood and the secretion of potassium in the filtrate. So it causes decrease of the potassium level in the blood. Now, presence of mineralocorticoid results increase retention of sodium and increase loss of the potassium. If there is absence of mineralocorticoid, the reverse thing happens. Increase retention of potassium and increase loss of the sodium. So presence and absence, the actions are reversed. Here I will throw light on the etiological part of the Addison disease. In the primary lecture and other lectures also told that etiology are two parts, primary and secondary. The word primary means the default or disease in the main primary organ. Secondary means the disease or fault or the pathology is located at any other place away from the primary organ. That means secondary organ. So the etiology is divided into two groups: primary adrenocortical insufficiency or failure. The second group, secondary adrenocortical insufficiency or failure. Here the word primary means adrenal cortex is affected. Secondary means other endocrine glands are affected, hypothalamus, pituitary. Now we will see details of these two groups of the etiology. Friends, first we will see the first group, primary adrenocortical insufficiency or failure. Here the disease is in the adrenal gland, so it is a primary. The cause of primary failure is usually unidentified. It is difficult to provide the diagnosis. Clinical signs appear if there is loss of more than 80 to 90% of the adrenal tissue, then clinical signs are seen. So it is difficult to identify. Most of the disease occur due to autoimmune mediated pathogenesis of the adrenal gland. The autoimmune means the body cells, the adrenal gland cells become antigen and body produce immunity, autoimmunity against this gland, and it causes the destruction of the adrenal gland. So most of the causes are autoimmune mediated pathogenesis. The main thing is destruction of the adrenal gland, primary. There are many reasons that cause the destruction of the adrenal gland. Many granulomatous diseases such as tuberculosis or fungal infection, metastatic tumor. If the tumor occurs in the adrenal gland, trauma of the adrenal gland, hemorrhage, infarction in the adrenal gland, adrenolytic agents, mitoten. In Cushing disease, we have seen that the clinician gives mitoten injections, that is adrenolytic agent. While giving such injections, clinicians should be very much careful that there should not be destruction of adrenal gland. Otherwise, by curing one disease, we can produce the other disease. Similarly, while treating that Cushing disease also, the clinician gives the injection of trilostane. The trilostane is adrenal enzyme inhibitor. So by treating the Cushing disease, if it is overdoses or not properly given, then it may invite this Addison's disease. Friends, we have seen the primary causes, that means the cause is in the adrenal gland, destruction of the adrenal gland cortex tissue. Here in this presentation, we will see secondary cause, means the causes are something other than the adrenal gland. Secondary adrenocortical insufficiency or failure. So one group of cause is iatrogenic. The word iatrogenic means it is caused by a clinician. Clinician performs certain actions on the animal for diagnosis and treatment. So while diagnosis and while giving the treatment, the clinician causes disease. So it is a iatrogen. Now let us see how it is produced. Clinician give prolonged treatment with glucocorticoid. So if the clinician give prolonged treatment with the glucocorticoid due to some other disease, but that result suppression of hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, that is called as HPA axis. We have already seen in the previous presentation what is HPA axis. This hypothalamus, pituitary and adrenal cortex are interrelated. So this is the iatrogenic causes. So clinician has to be careful about this. The second group of causes is destruction of the tissue of hypothalamus or pituitary. We are not talking about the adrenal because this is the secondary group. So destruction of the tissue of hypothalamus or pituitary. Either inflammation, trauma or tumor of either hypothalamus or pituitary. That results in decreased secretion of corticotropic releasing hormone or adrenocortical tropic hormone, and that causes adrenocortical insufficiency or failure. Friends, we have already seen normal things, normal physiology. We have already understood the etiology. So to understand this pathogenesis is very easy. The Addison disease is hypoadrenocorticism, decreased adrenocortical hormone. In primary adrenocortical insufficiency, we have already told that adrenal gland is affected. All the three zones or three layers of adrenal glands are affected in most of the dog. So this is the main etiology. Primary is the main etiology. Now when there is destruction of all the three layers of the adrenal gland, that causes deficiency in adrenocortical hormone. that results into deficiency of glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids, or both. And when there is deficiency of this glucocorticoid, mineralocorticoid, either any one or both, it produces a clinical signs of deficiency of both hormones. Clinical signs of glucocorticoid deficiency or clinical signs of the mineralocorticoid deficiency or deficiency of both. That we call it as a hypoadrenocorticism, decreased adrenocortical hormone, and it is called as by name of the scientist Addison disease. In the pathogenesis, we have studied there is deficiency of two groups, glucocorticoid and mineralocorticoid. Here we will study glucocorticoid deficiency. That is the decreased glucocorticoid secretion. The reasons are destruction of tissue of hypothalamus or pituitary or adrenal gland of HPA axis, because these are related, these three glands are related, either destruction of hypothalamus or pituitary gland or adrenal cortex. Now this will result in decreased secretion of corticotropic releasing hormone CRH, which is secreted by hypothalamus. So if hypothalamus is affected, there is decreased secretion of the CRH. If pituitary gland is affected, there is decreased secretion of ACTH. If adrenal cortex is affected, there is decreased secretion of cortisol or say glucocorticoid. Clear? Now this leads to reduction in level of glucocorticoid hormone in the blood. And there are signs and syndrome of glucocorticoid deficiency. Clear? In the pathogenesis, we have studied that deficiency of two hormones, glucocorticoid, that is cortisol, and mineralocorticoid, that is aldosterone. In the previous slide, we have already studied the deficiency of glucocorticoid hormone. In this slide, we will study deficiency of mineralocorticoid or aldosterone hormone. There is a decreased secretion of aldosterone and principal hormone is mineralocorticoid. See, its important function we have already seen. So when there is deficiency of mineralocorticoid, the clinician find noticeable changes in serum levels of potassium, sodium and chloride. We have already seen the normal thing and abnormal both. So when there is deficiency of mineralocorticoid, there is resorption of potassium and excretion of sodium by the kidney tubules and the sweat glands. So it produces a clear-cut changes in the serum level. There is hyperkalemia, increased potassium level of the blood. Again, hyperkalemia because of this mineralocorticoid deficiency. Remember this, increased potassium level of blood. In reverse to that, there is hyponatremia, decreased sodium level in the blood, and hypochloremia because the sodium and chloride goes together. Hypochloremia, decreased chloride level of the blood, and these produce a clear-cut signs, especially hyperkalemia. And if the potassium level is increased to a great extent, then signs of severe hyperkalemia is observed, which is a very serious. Hyperkalemia causes generalized muscular weakness of the whole body. The potassium has an effect on the heart, bradycardia, decreased heart rate, irregular heart rate, or if it is very severe, that it causes a circulatory collapse, that is called as Addison crisis or Addisonian crisis. We will see that later on. Friends, it is my personal humble request to all veterinarians to share this information video to veterinarians and veterinary students. Requested to subscribe this Dr. Vet channel. If you like this video, press like button. Thank you very much for observing this video. Next time we'll come with Addison disease part 2. In that we'll discuss clinical findings, diagnosis and treatment. Thanks.